Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel and I love books, so I decided to start a book channel. I read 14 books this year, which is a lot compared to the past couple years. However, I used to read a lot when I was a kid. I was really into fantasy, like I read like Percy Jackson, Heroes of Olympus, Harry Potter, like all that kind of thing. And I used to read a lot more books. I'd probably read like, not that much in comparison to like book YouTubers, but I used to read probably like 25 books when I was in elementary school. And then high school hit, reading wasn't really cool, so I kind of stopped reading. But now I love reading again, and I'm in my third year of university. And yeah, so I read 14 books. I'm gonna give you guys summaries of each one, tell you what I rated, and then I'm gonna talk to you guys at the end of like my favorite books, that kind of thing. Okay, so the first book I read to start off 2022 was One of Us is Lying. This book was really good. It kickstarted me back into reading. I think I read it in like 4 days. It's about these 4 people who were in detention, and then someone dies in detention, and then they're blamed for the murder. And we have to figure out who murdered the person. And yeah, it's really good. It's a thriller. It's, I would say, young adult. I really like it. I probably would give it 4.5 stars because it really took me out of my slump. So, and this was one of my first thrillers I've ever read. Also, guys, I forgot to mention as I was editing that in One of Us is Lying, there's a subplot of romance that I really liked, so highly recommend. The next book I read is All of Us in Our Own Lives. I don't have a picture, but I'll put it up right here. It's basically about different people, and they all are in Nepal. So it's like someone from a village in Nepal, a Canadian lawyer who's in Nepal for like aid work, and then it's another person's perspective, like a person from Nepal, but I think they're a little bit upper class. And it's a fiction. On Goodreads it's rated 3.5 stars. I'd give it a 3-star because, like, yes, it was educational and I do want to go to Nepal one day, but it kind of put me in a slump. It really pushed me back. I think it took me 2 months to read it, if I'm being honest. So yeah, it was rough. So the next book I read was 1,000 Boy Kisses. This also put me in a slump, kind of. It's very cheesy. It's a very cheesy romance book, and it's about this girl and this guy. It's like a young romance, which I don't like. I don't like young romances. I like when they're older. It's by Tilly Cole. On Goodreads it has a 4.6. I'd probably give it like a 3.5. I did cry at the end. It's sad. Be prepared for that. A lot of people do like it. This one book talk person who I follow, it's Sarah Caroli, she loves 1,000 Boy Kisses. The next book I read was Reminders of Him. I just gave this to my friend Riley. Hopefully she reads it. I really liked this book. It was my first Colleen Hoover book ever, so I was really excited about that. I think this book is a 4.5 for me. I really loved it. I loved Heath, like the main male character. Y'all, this is me editing again. I literally meant to say Ledger because I keep thinking Heath Ledger. That's why I always called the book boyfriend Heath, but his name is Ledger. So I love Ledger. It's about a girl who, she just got out of prison. She has a daughter. She's not in contact with her daughter. She's trying to get in contact with the daughter. She meets this man. This man has a connection to her daughter. Forbidden romance trope kind of thing. Super fun, super good. Love it. The next book I read was Daisy Jones and the Six. I get it. I get the hype. This is really popular on Book Talk. However, some people still don't like it. I really did enjoy this book. I love the way it's written because it's narrated by all the band members, and they are like telling the story, but it's every like person is giving their story. It's like Daisy and then blah blah blah, like, so they're all like giving their part. I think it's really good. It's in the 70s. I love the 70s. Rock and roll. Love rock and roll. This is probably a 5-star read for me. I read it so quick. I read it on the way home from seeing my friend Mia. Loved it. Also, sorry, I totally forgot to say, Daisy Jones and the Six is like kind of a forbidden romance, and it's also like they're enemies to lovers, kind of, if that makes any sense. Then the next book I read after that is People We Meet on Vacation. This is the first Emily Henry book I read as well, because I was on Book Talk. I'm like, I need to read all these famous authors on Book Talk. Loved this book. Friendship, not childhood friends. I'd say like young adult friends to lovers trope. It's Nathan and or I don't know why I said Nathan. It's Alex and Poppy. So it's about Alex and Poppy, and they like go on vacation every single year for her work trip, and they have fun. Highly recommend. I really liked it. I'm gonna give this 4.5 star. The book I read after that was Book Lovers. This is another Emily Henry book. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Henry. I really like this. My sister read this book and she hated it. I think it's really good. I think the main character, Nora, is like, I feel like she's really relatable in the sense how she's like Miss Independent. This is like enemies to lovers kind of trope. Yeah, there's small town vibes in this. And they're both like, she's a publisher, I think. Yeah, she's a literary agent. I don't know, I really liked this book. I thought it was really good, honestly. I would say this was probably a 4.5. I feel like when you read two of like the same author, you automatically compare, and I probably shouldn't have read them back to back. I like this more than People We Meet on Vacation because I liked the main character. I related to her more because I feel like Poppy in this People We Meet on Vacation is kind of a pick-me girl in some aspects. Yeah, she's the wild child, blah blah blah, but then Nora is like, she's a shark. She's like career over everything, which I love. The next book I read was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which I have not read the sequel or I think there's another book after that. There's like 2 other books in this series. I have not read it. This is about a girl murdered, and this girl Pip, I think her name's Piper. She wants to like, she's just like really infatuated with a murder that happened and the suicide, and she's like, I need to get to the bottom of this because I feel like this person isn't held responsible. So then she solves the case. It's a thriller. It's like a young adult thriller, so it's nothing really scary. But yeah, I really like this book. I really never read thrillers before this year, so I was really excited to read this. I would give this a 4.5. And I know I'm giving a lot of these books 4.5s, maybe just because I haven't read in a long time, but I really like this book. And then I read Malala. I Am Malala. This low-key put me in a slump. Love Malala. This is a iconic book, and I knew I had to read it because it's probably going to be a freaking classic one day. I've always been inspired by Malala and her Nobel Prize and what happened to her because of the Taliban. So I'm like, I want to read her account. So I did. I think it's really good. It's really eye-opening, except it just put me in a slump because I was used to such like fast-paced reads that this I started in November and ended in December. So it took me like a month to read this like tiny book. I'd probably give this a 3.5. I bet you if I was looking for something like this, it wouldn't have put me in a slump. And then I read A Sun That Is Also a Star. This book is about, it's dual perspective, which is something that I don't think any of these other books I've read this year are, except for Daisy Jones. I don't think any of the other ones are. I'd give this like a 4 star. Yeah, it's about Natasha and Daniel. They like randomly meet. It's an instant love kind of thing. I don't really like that. I think it's really unrealistic. But there's just like random characters that get their perspective put in, and sometimes I'm like, who are they? Like, why is this here? I liked the ending. I really liked the ending. I don't know, like I just hate instant love. This book, Verity. Verity was so good. The plot twist at the end. This was my second Colleen Hoover book. I was really excited because I've heard a lot about this book. I'd give it a 5 star, honestly. It was so good. I was not expecting it. I had no idea of anything about this book because I kind of stay away from like the spoilers and stuff. I highly recommend. My friend Mia recommended it to me. Yeah, it's tied with Daisy Jones and the Six, honestly. It's a thriller, by the way. And it's kind of scary. Like, I remember being scared. I stayed up till like 1 a.m. Also, I read this during exam season, which I probably shouldn't have done. But I stayed up till like 1 a.m. one night because I couldn't stop reading it. And then I was so scared to go to the washroom because I was like, I don't want to leave my room. I'm just going to apologize right here that the angle of this video completely changes. And I had no idea and I was not paying attention because I was so distracted. And then I read November 9th by Colleen Hoover. This book, I think I honestly didn't like as much, solely for the purpose that the pages kept falling out. Like, if you look closely, like, there's loose pages in here because they kept falling out as I was reading, and I got so upset. This one is about Fallon and Ben. I really liked Ben. So they, like, meet every single November 9th, hence the name. And it's about a writer, too, which I love. I love when writers write about writers, in a sense, like, because Ben is a writer. I liked it. This was also instant love though, but it was okay because I really liked the character. So I'd give it a 4.5 star. It was really good. And then I read It Ends With Us. Oh my god, sorry. This is by Colleen Hoover again. I get the hype. I get the hype. I get it. I read this in 2 days. Trigger warning, domestic violence. This one was good. It was great. I'm also giving this a 5 star. And let me tell you, at the end, Colleen makes this like epilogue. I love the epilogue a lot because it talks about her life and how it relates to this book. I love the characters, Lily, Atlas, and Ryle. And I really like the way she wrote this book. And then I read A Silent Patient. This one was, compared to It Ends With Us, this one was a little bit slower, but I did read it in a day. This is really good. It's a thriller. I think it's one of the top thrillers of maybe 2021. I don't know. A little bit slower in the beginning. I feel like it was slow for like, not slow, but you're just like learning a lot of information in the beginning. And there's like a lot of psychology terms, which I'm not that familiar with. Like psychotherapy and stuff. So Alicia, her life seemed fine. She murdered her husband and then never talked again. And so the psychotherapist, Theo, wants to like crack her code, basically. He's really captivated by her. There's a great plot twist at the end. I'd like near like, I'd say by like 180, I say I was like hooked. It was a different read, but I think it was really good. I'd give this a 4.5 star, honestly. And I know I give a lot of these books a 4.5 star. Maybe looking back later on in life, I'll be like, oh, that wasn't that good. But I really liked the ending. It just took a little second to get into. I really hope you guys like my video. This is kind of random. I just always have wanted to be a book YouTuber. So I've decided I'm like, might as well make one. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Also, I probably won't post regularly because I'm a full-time university student, but I'm trying to read more, so yeah. Hi guys, I just wanted to say I'm sorry I didn't really explain the books that well. I more so just gave my rating. But anyway, I will try to work on that for future videos, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye!